Welcome to the lecture, Strategy for Managing. To start off with, Chapter 10 of our text, Landy and Conti describe primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention strategies for managing stress. And they emphasize primary prevention strategies because they're ideal. I mean, if you can eliminate the source of the stress goes away, or even modify the job to reduce the stress. But the problem is this is often difficult or too costly, or the organization is not willing to do that. So what I'd like to do today is focus on secondary prevention strategies, because that seems like most IO consultants focus on secondary prevention. And in particular, I want to expand today on meditation, cognitive strategies, because the text mentions cognitive strategies, but they really don't describe what they are or give you an idea of what they are. And then relaxation exercises. So that's the focus. I'd like to start off with mindfulness meditation. You know, in my own life, 20 years ago, I was introduced to transcendental meditation, and I really found it useful in terms of the benefits. You know, the improved physiology, and especially the increase in alpha brain waves. Because at the time I really had an interest in learning theory and improving my ability to concentrate over long periods of study. And then later, I had a chance to go through mindfulness meditation workshop with Ron Alexander, and that was just an excellent workshop. And Ron Alexander is a clinical psychologist and a Buddhist monk, and he does a wonderful job of describing, both from an Eastern point of view and Western point of view, the whole meditation process. And then more recently, I went through Deepak Chopra's primordial sound meditation. I didn't study with Chopra. I studied with one of Chopra's students, which was Lisa Guyman. But it's just an outstanding workshop. The benefits to mindfulness meditation. Notice we talked about the first two there, but it also decreases cortisol and stress. The DHEA production increases, which is an anti-aging chemical the brain puts out. Research has shown a 70% reduction in medical problems, more effective emotion regulation, decreased anxiety and negative affect, decreased heart rate and blood pressure. And that's one I focus on. And I do biofeedback. I take my blood pressure after each meditation. I've done that for years now. One article that I really recommend, you can find this in the library. It's called The Mechanisms of Mindfulness. And the three primary mechanisms for mindfulness is what they call the IAA model: intention, attention, and attitude. So if you think about it, intention is the purpose for the meditation. In other words, what are you trying to achieve when you meditate? For me, I was trying to achieve an improvement in my physiology. I was trying to lower my blood pressure and decrease my heart rate. Attention is you focus on breathing in the here and now. In other words, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're in the moment. And while you're in the moment, your awareness is both internal and external. So it's like an expanded awareness. And then you have to bring an attitude to the meditation. So the attitude is, what is the quality of the attention during your meditation? And I like it that Davis and Hayes. Um, Davis and Hayes, I might say, they talk about um, the decreased anxiety and negative affect. The attitude is um, Santorelli describes attitude and does a really nice job. And this is reported in the Shapiro article. And he says he borrows from the Japanese characters for mindfulness, which represent both heart and mind. So, attitude is bringing both heart and mind to the attention of the meditation. And so, this really what this equates to is being open and compassionate about the attention during meditation. Now, some steps from Alexander in practicing meditation, and also I've added some of Chopra's tips from his training. But number one is, and one of the things that Chopra really emphasizes that I like a lot, is that be comfortable in the position, your physical position. In other words, Chopra says if you're not comfortable in your position, you're not going to do it. And I agree with that. So if you're most comfortable sitting in a chair, sit in a chair. You don't have to be in a lotus position to do meditation. And then you're going to put your attention on your breathing. And you're going to breathe normal. You're just going to focus on it, in other words. And there's different ways to do that. For example, Ron Alexander teaches a meditation where you simply put your attention on I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out, and you say that silently to yourself as you do it. Chopra likes to use a mantra, so hum, which is Sanskrit for I am, and so you would silently say so on the in breath and hum on the out breath. Thoughts continue to come in while you meditate, and that's normal and expected. You simply redirect your attention to your breathing as thoughts come and go. And remember, your awareness is both inside and out. Typically 20 to 30 minutes is recommended, although any amount of time meditating is beneficial. Even if you only have 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. So meditation is one of the best strategies. I wanted to take a few minutes and explain what cognitive strategies can be used to manage stress. And from this one, it's a particular instrument that I like a lot. I use it in my consulting work. It's called the Stress Resiliency Profile by Thomas and Timon. It's published by the Consulting Psychologist Press. It's user-friendly. It's very informative. It's not expensive. It's an excellent instrument. And 3 cognitive strategies that they focus on in this instrument is called deficiency focusing, necessitating, and skill recognition. And basically what they're saying is how a person thinks about a situation can either result in stress or it can result in being resilient. And deficiency focusing is pretty simple. It's just that a person has a tendency to only think of the negatives. In other words, what's negative about a situation or what's potentially negative, and that's all they think about. And since that's all they're thinking about, that's pretty stressful. To balance their thinking, they should add the positives in. When you add the positives in, and then you're getting a more realistic thinking about a situation, and the stress goes down. Necessitating that they talk about, and this is one Albert Ellis has written a lot about as well, and it's when you're thinking that you have to do something, that you have no choice, that I have to, I should. This type of thinking results in stress, and when you really get down to it, when you really think about it, and especially with most things, it's a choice. I mean, there's a consequence if you don't do it, but it's still a choice, and oftentimes well, look, if I don't do it today, the world doesn't end. I'll do it the next day. And so my stress goes down by thinking that way. And then the last one is skill recognition. Attributing people, something goes well, they attribute it to luck, and they fail to recognize their own skill level, their own contribution to the situation. And so by recognizing their own contribution, they begin to realize they have more control over a situation than they thought, and this reduces their stress. So these strategies either predispose a person to stress or that makes them resilient to stress. They are learned behaviors, and they require intention and practice. In other words, it has to be your intention that I want to learn to think differently about situations. Then you practice it, and then eventually it becomes a habit. Relaxation exercises, typically progressive muscle relaxation is the most common one. It's a guided relaxation where a recorded voice talks you through focusing on different muscle groups, starting at the top of the head and working all the way down to the feet. A lot of times it's a matter of contrast. You tighten a muscle and then you relax it. By tightening a muscle very tight, then relaxing really lets you realize relaxation. And so the purpose, you do this systematically for about a 20-minute period, and it reduces your stress. I have a link here for sample exercises in these relaxation exercises, and in the transcript posted you'll find this link, and I encourage you to go to this link. There's some sample exercises where they talk you through it. Try them out with secondary prevention strategies. The key is to find a strategy that fits with who you are and that feels comfortable and that you're willing to do. And today, the work environments are characterized as being more stressful than work environments have been in the past. So many people are working in these high stress environments, and we are no exception. And so what I would encourage you to do is try some of the strategies out, find one that works for you, and then use it on a basis. Thank you.